So all eyes on the much anticipated India-Russia summit this week. And joining us for more is Ambassador Shashank. He is a former Foreign Secretary of India. Ambassador, welcome to DD India News Hub. I have a long list of issues to ask of you, including defense, trade, energy, space, and so on. But I want to begin by talking about the India-Russia Special and Privileged Strategic Partnership, which turns 25. It was in October 2000 that President Putin and then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee signed the Declaration on Strategic Partnership, which opened a new chapter in bilateral relations. How do you look at this 25-year journey? How would you describe it, and how has it benefited both countries?
Well, India and Russia have been trusted friends of each other for a fairly long time. And I think when in 2000 this relationship was further strengthened, it was seen as that not just a buyer-seller relationship, but also co-production, joint research, all kinds of activities whereby the two countries could work at both people-to-people level and at all different levels to promote the relations. Because till that time we found that it was mostly based on defense-related items, which were very easily supplied by the Russians, including the technologies, whereas India was finding it very difficult to get any defense-related technology from other countries. So then it was decided that we should further strengthen this relationship, and so we had set up city-to-city partnerships. We had set up the idea that we should really go for an annual kind of summit between our two countries, so that relationship could be then reviewed at the highest level. And we have been meeting at different other levels also on all science and technology, on energy-related matters and minerals, etc. So I think this is really a relationship which has matured over a period of time. And what we have seen, especially when we have had an unstable neighborhood and promotion of terrorism from some of our neighboring countries, that Russia has come forward very strongly in transferring technology and armaments to India, which has been very useful. You remember your Operation Sindoor recently, that where S-400s played a very important part in India's telling the Pakistanis how to behave and to make sure that their nuclear blackmail does not cut any ice.
Indeed.
So I think this is something very important where Russia has helped India very much. And the Indian people value this relationship. And at a time when we are finding that the West is trying to bring an end to the Russia-Ukraine war, and they are carrying on various kinds of dialogues, but at the same time they're putting all pressures on India, thinking that if India can be pressurized by additional tariffs, and we find that USA is even telling the European Union countries and UK that they should put 100% tariff on India.
Right.
So therefore, this is important that we have to bring about peace in Europe, but at the same time take care of our own interests, and our relationship between Russia and India has to be somehow shielded from this kind of difficulties.
Ambassador, you covered a lot of ground there. So let me, since you referred to defense and defense technology, let me start with defense then. Can we expect progress on, say, for instance, India's interest in S-400 air defense systems? There's also talk about S-500 air defense system, the Sukhoi Su-57 fighter jet, and the R-37M missile. So can we expect progress on some of these items in the summit?
Well, there are a couple of issues which we need to take care of. Number one is that there is a CATSA kind of
Indeed, and just for the benefit of viewers, Ambassador, you refer to CATSA. CATSA is the Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act passed by the US. So would that also affect future India-Russia defense deals?
Well, so far as S-400s are concerned, a special dispensation was made.
Right.
And the Americans agreed that India could go ahead because we have a long-term relationship of defense purchases from Russia.
Indeed.
And we have to continue this relationship. We just cannot bring it to an end. So the Americans had agreed to it, and they realized that over a period of time, they would also bring about a better relationship of trust with India. Now, in this case, S-400, there is no difficulty. But as far as S-500 is concerned, I hope that we can carry on a dialogue with the Russians and at the same time hope that the Ukraine-Russia trouble would come to an end and the efforts which are being made by President Trump will come to fruition. I mean, what we are seeing is that now the President Trump has given a very clear-cut message to Europe that they should now take care of this as a European issue. And America cannot be brought into this issue. They would very much like to bring about peace, including with Russia. So
Indeed.
I think these are the issues that on which we have to carry on a dialogue with the Russians, so that at least the issue of transfer of technology, upgradation of technology, etc., and Atmanirbharta campaign of India can be further supported by Russia. And then we just have to see how things develop internationally. Hopefully, we would be able to go for all S-500 as well as Su-57 and R-37 and other missiles.
Right.
They're important for India.
Indeed. Let's focus a bit, if you will, Ambassador, on economy now. How is trade and investment shaping up? How is the Rupee-Ruble trade coming along?
Well, Russia has been trying, because Russia is under sanctions. So they have been generally going in for de-dollarization kind of an approach by BRICS countries and by RIC countries. India has been opposed to this because India feels that we cannot go for de-dollarization, which will be seen as a hostile act by the Americans. But we would like to promote our national currencies being used in international trade. So India is supporting that part, which is that wherever we can carry on transactions in our own currency and other national currencies, there we can go ahead. So thereby, Rupee-Ruble trade, therefore, very much comes under that. We would prefer to have a direct trade. The Russians, of course, have been saying that either use the UAE currency or the Chinese currency. So we'll just have to wait and see how these things develop further, because the Americans have taken a very hostile attitude towards BRICS. And that is one of the reasons why highest tariffs have been put on India, Brazil, and South Africa. So we'll just have to see that we promote our national currencies. We also promote the Rupee-Ruble trade to such an extent that our trade can become more balanced. And we can also supply many more items to Russia.
And talking about economy, Ambassador, connectivity plays an important role in trade. What can you tell us about, for instance, the international north-south transport corridor or the Chennai-Vladivostok maritime corridor?
Well, these are very important initiatives which have been taken several years ago, and they need to be pursued further. This has been a pity, great pity, that a great country like India has been hobbled right from its very beginning by all the routes, international routes being blocked, on one side by Pakistan, on the other side by East Pakistan, and then Myanmar also having a non-democratic government. So I think many of the problems come from that side also. So now we have tried to develop the links via Iran, so through Chabahar port, through Bandar Abbas and others. So this north-south trade corridor could use both Bandar Abbas and the Chabahar port. Only thing is that there again we find that Iran has come under sanctions from the Western countries. And we are hoping that there would be some kind of an agreement would be reached, so that either India is allowed to buy more oil from countries like Iran, because if we are being told to cut down our oil imports from Russia, then we have to get it from other sources. We just cannot allow Indian economy to suffer under this thing. But I think, as you are saying, that these transport corridors are extremely important for us, and we have to continue building them, at least build whatever we can do, building the train network, building the software, the customs formalities and others can be worked out in the meantime. So as and when the international situation improves, we should be able to move very strongly on the north-south corridor, on the Chennai-Vladivostok corridor, and also at the same way, I hope that with the Myanmar also we have many links going up to Southeast Asia, we are able to develop them also.
Indeed. Ambassador, energy, oil and gas also plays an important role in the bilateral ties. Do you think by the end of the summit, both Moscow and New Delhi would have found a way around the US tariff on India's imports of Russian oil?
Well, I'm very hopeful of this, because I really feel that this present meeting which is taking place in Russia with the son-in-law of President Trump and Witkoff would come to some kind of a successful conclusion. I have great trust in the intelligence and the commitment to peace by both President Trump and President Putin. And therefore, I'm hopeful that we would be able to reach agreements even to promote further our import of oil from Russia and other commodities, also fertilizers, etc. Because I think that is important for Indian economy. And I think we want to promote relations with USA and with Russia, with both of them. And therefore, India is trying to do its very best to bring about a better atmosphere between these two major powers. And we hope that this conflict in Europe will come to an end sooner than later.
Ambassador Shashank, pleasure as always to talk to you. Thank you for sharing your perspectives with our viewers at home and abroad. Thank you for your time. Much appreciated.